Anthony, may the 4th be with you. Today, we're talking to Rupesh Patel. We're going to find out all about what's going on with the World Travel and Tourism Council and lots more brands putting out lots of standards. Let's find out what happens. Join Anthony and me right now. Holy cow, it's May 4th, and we've got Anthony Milcuri, star of MSNBC, over here. Anthony, you were on there yesterday. How'd that go, man?
I was. You know, it was on at 4:30, and it was about travel, and it was about airline travel. Mm-hmm. And I kind of tried to change the conversation to hospitality as well, because they had an airplane expert on. So we tried to talk about hotels, and you're going to see more of those shows. You're going to see hopefully more on those news programs. I'm really trying to get the word out past just what we're doing, but really to the nation of what this industry looks like and what it's going to look like in our opinions, and every expert we have on his opinion. So, and one of the interesting things is, you know, I've been on these shows many times, but one of the things that they usually do is they give you questions, right? And you kind of prepare your mind for that question. No questions. So we're just going to go. So we went. And every single question they asked me, you know, I wasn't prepared for. Like, I didn't know what they're going to ask me. But what was interesting was everything that we've done on the show in the last 7 weeks now, buddy.
Yeah, seems like it, right? Mm-hmm.
In the last 7 weeks was really what came out of my mouth. You know, every single thing I learned on this show is what came out of my mouth. So we're trying to get that out more, even past our platform. We're trying to get that out internationally and nationally. Kind of what we're talking about on the show.
Good.
Who do we have on the show today,
we have got Rupesh Patel, who's going to be up any second right now. And then we've got the incredible, wonderful Amanda Hills. She's the president of MMGY's HillsBalfour, and they just put together a big program with WTTC, the World Travel and Tourism Council, about Together in Travel and how we're all going to get traveling together in the future, which is, I guess, why it's called Together in Travel.
So, you know, interesting thing this weekend that came out of Vegas. I won't mention names or anything, but a couple huge shifts in some executives out there. Not only people leaving, but people leaving their positions to go on to other positions within companies, some bigger, some smaller. Fascinating stuff that I found out just having conversations with some friends out there. A couple of hotels are looking to open. One, I believe Treasure Island is looking to open May 15th, if I remember that right. Is that correct, Glenn?
I don't know. I did not hear that date, but Treasure Island, being that it's kind of its own thing, not part of a massive gaming company like Caesars or MGM, they probably have more of the easier ability to do that.
Right, and then Wynn's looking to open up pretty quick. So very interesting.
It really is. Speaking of more news just like that, Carnival Cruise Line just put out their reopening plan to phase in stuff starting August 1st. You can check out that press release at novacancynews.com, as well as Wyndham Hotels and Resorts launched their Count on Us initiative to welcome back travelers and help their staff. You can check that out at novacancynews.com. And Anthony, we're working on finally having someone with Wyndham appear on the show, hopefully later in the week after their earnings call tomorrow.
And we need to have somebody from the cruise industry on, which I'm working on, and you're working on, and we're all working on. So.
We're trying. I'm going to reach out to Carnival as well now that I got this news. See if they want to.
Maybe we can ask David to reach out to Lisa, our friend.
That would be great. And before we go to our first guest, I just want to do a little show note here. Rob Palesci, the CEO of G6 Hospitality, you know them as Motel 6, here tomorrow at noon, talking to Anthony and myself. So finally, a lot more of the brand CEOs are starting to come along. I've been having some conversations behind the scenes with some people. Some are still a little too scared, but hopefully that'll change. This is a feel-good zone, people. We will help you succeed, CEOs that come on here.
Are they still using the tagline, "We'll keep the lights on for you"?
We can talk all about that with him tomorrow. I don't want to ruin anything for you right now. I just want to meet Tom Bodette. That is my dream in the future. All right, let's do it. Let's bring on the one and only Rupesh Patel, our greatest competition out there. Welcome aboard, Rupesh Patel. You guys know Rupesh from the online community here. He's done a great job at building community over there. Makes me a little bit jealous, but that's okay. We can handle it, Anthony, right? We shouldn't be too scared of this rock star over here.
Listen, I asked to have Rupesh Patel on because he's actually helped me when I first started thinking about doing this.
Yep.
Kind of with you, Glenn, and I thought it would be important to have him on because he's our competition. So we need to know what our competition is so we can trust him. Okay.
Yes. Rupesh, we're gonna. If you hear some strange noise coming out that makes your brain bleed and then you pass out, that's not us. We're not scared of you at all. But seriously, all jokes aside, Rupesh is really great what he does. Follow him on LinkedIn. You started as a hotel owner. You've developed this great thing of helping advise people online about their hotel businesses. I love that you've taken that role, something I could never do because I've never operated a day in my hotel. So we're just kind of kid around that we're competitors out there. But what's going on with you, man? What's the state of your hotel business today on Star Wars
and you're
May 4th?
You're in Daytona, correct?
Excuse me?
You're in Daytona, correct?
We have properties in Daytona. We have partners in New York and Massachusetts, and we're staying strong. Is that what you want to hear from me?
Hospitality strong. No, we want to hear that you're running 90% occupancy.
No, I want to hear the truth.
Yeah.
No, honestly, so it's been 6 weeks or six plus weeks, and it's been up and down for most hoteliers in Florida. Which, if you're not closed, you're open, and you're running either a 5% occupancy, or you're on the other side of the of the line, and you're running a little bit higher at 70 something, 60 something plus, based on what kind of business you got. You might have received some government business where your hotel is sold out, which I've had some friends say that they have, which has been amazing, and I'm so happy for them because listen, we're all here struggling. We talked about this earlier. Personally, we're all struggling, and I'm just here to kind of share ideas, and that's what I do on social. So I love that we've all been inspiring because I watch your show and I see that you guys are helping a bunch of people. And, for us, we're just keeping the lights on like you were talking about. And really, the money we've made in the last 6 weeks has just been going towards payroll. That's it. Nothing else.
Well, have you been getting the loans?
We got a few loans and, we're still waiting for some, and we're going to spend it on payroll. That's all we can do. A lot of people, we're on a group chat with like 15 or 20 hoteliers, and I have a few of those, and we're talking about different ideas on how we can spend this money or what we're doing in operations currently. And it's like all over the place, like marketing ideas to how you're running your payroll, how you're running your expenses, what you're doing for brand standards, which is all over the place based on what brand you have. Right now, it's like the Wild Wild West where you make up your own rules, but make sure they're compliant with kind of the guidelines and the feeling and the brand.
So what's the first thing from a operational standpoint are you open right now, the one in Daytona?
Yeah, we're open.
Okay, so what does it look like? I check into your hotel. What does that look like? Give me an example. The second I take my luggage out of the car, what does that look like?
Yeah, so you walk in. You're going to check in. We don't, we have a limited select service brand. So, we don't have the whole keyless entry that we're probably have to plan to now put into our capital expenses. But yeah, we're being safe. We have the cover where you can't hang out in the lobby,
what does that mean?
Really getting your room.
I want you to give me details because people are asking. You walk in, there's somebody, they have a mask on, they have gloves, they hand you a pen. What does it look like?
Yeah, so it's clean pens and sanitized pens and dirty pens like you see at restaurants and hotels, all of any business really. We're making sure that the touch point is reduced for you getting and touching it into your eye or your face or getting affected. So we're taking safe precautions as far as being safe for our staff. So everyone wear gloves. We have suggested everywhere we wear masks, and we have a shield at the front desk. So we have, if you go to any business right now, you should have a shield that's going to protect you from that. At least help protect you from, the virus or any other kind of germs, right?
So your employees, it's not mandatory that they wear masks?
It's not mandatory just now until they actually feel, because we put it in compliance and we said we recommend everybody wear it, and now it's really up to them if they want to wear it, right?
Right.
You can't make a policy in your hotel that they have to wear it?
I think we tried, and we're like back and forth on how people feel comfortable and how they can breathe. And people's health too, right? Some people just can't breathe in and they feel claustrophobic, and guess what? That affects their job. And now, if they feel comfortable, they're going out into public and they feel comfortable without wearing a mask, or they're being really protective around who they're going and spending their time around. I think they have that option. We can't say it's not like a uniform. You have to wear this, and all of a sudden they have some other health issue, or they feel really like claustrophobic.
Doesn't that put you in a bind though? Because you've got guests coming in that may not feel comfortable when they see that.
No, we have that shield in front, so they can't like specifically have, breathe right all over them or talk to them. We also have a barrier that kind of keeps them from being protected. So,
what do you do for uniforms? Are you laundering them and you're making them change in a hotel, or are they taking their clothes home and bringing it into the hotel?
They're taking their clothes home. It's kind of like standard operating procedure right now. We don't, I wish we were like the 5-star hotel that Anthony, that you're used to. No, just to be clear, I've run 2-star, 3-star, 5-star, 4-star hotels. No, I'm just saying, because a lot of brands and a lot of hotels now are going to, we will clean your uniform. You will wear your uniform. Once it's cleaned here, you will change your clothes. You'll put it in the bag. Then you will change again, and then you will leave. Some people even making them change shoes. So it's not a brand standard. A lot of hoteliers, I have a hotel that I'm consulting with in Wildwood, and they're considering the same thing. So it's not really a brand standard. It's what I would be comfortable with. And I'm not saying it's wrong or it's right. I'm just wondering what each hotel is doing. I think a lot of associates are doing that. So they're bagging their stuff up before they go into the house. They're bagging it all up and washing it separately from their family's clothes or their other household, items, and they feel really comfortable doing that. And I've talked to a lot of hoteliers, and it's pretty much the same thing where, we would love to mandate and say everybody has to wear a mask, but there's also other things that happen when you're wearing a mask that a lot of people feel claustrophobic. I'm not sure if the first time you wore a mask, I felt claustrophobic in a mask the first week, and I'm like, I can't really breathe in this, and and a lot of people still feel that way. Comment. Actually, you know what? We would like to know if the people that are listening comment and let us know if you felt that same way. I think that's pretty powerful.
You know what? I think a lot of people do, and there's a lot of people that can't wear it because of that, and so maybe they'll freak out. I'm not saying that, but personally, it's better than death. So we just had a young man on our softball team who's 30 years old. Was one of the happiest, crazy, great people I've ever met in my life. Apparently, no underlying conditions, and I just found out this morning he passed away. So to me, when a 30-year-old in good health passes,
is it from COVID or is it?
100%. And when I hear a 30-year-old in good health that plays softball, full of life, passes away, I think again, if I can wear it and it's a little uncomfortable, I just don't want to, I don't want to pass it on. So, but what are you doing, or what are you hearing as far as cleaning standards? Every brand is different, but what are there any new cleaning standards in your hotels or in other hotels that you've been hearing about?
It's kind of all over the place. There's no specific standard that you hear. Like, everyone's just putting these ideas together. It's like wearing a mask in the beginning. Don't wear a mask unless you're actually, infected with the virus. Everybody, remember in the beginning of this thing, they said, don't wear a mask. It was part of the World Health Organization that not everybody needs to wear a mask. So things change every single day. I'm looking at every single brand and seeing what makes most sense for my properties and the kind of clientele and the kind of customers and guests that we have, right?
As I mentioned, Wyndham announced their standards today, as did the American Hotel and Lodging Association. So again, go to novacancynews.com, click on the news section, and you're going to see that they put out an industry-wide enhanced standard of health and safety protocols designed to prepare America's hotels to safely welcome back guests and employees as the economy reopens. I'm not going to get into the specifics of it, but it does focus on employee and guest health, employee responsibilities, cleaning products and protocols, and physical distancing. So again, check that out at novacancynews.com. Yes, sir.
Yeah, absolutely. There's foggers, there's that UV light, there's all these different sanitary and chemicals that are out there right now. There's stuff that's all over the place. I think we need to have a standard. Maybe a brand out there can figure out with a certain brand. I know Lysol's doing something with Hilton. Other brands are doing something with other hotel brands. We're just learning everything this week and in the next coming weeks, and putting a game plan together and how we're going to keep our guests safe, our staff safe, and anybody that walks into the hotel, especially with the food side and the stay side, right?
Well, I don't know if you heard, but in New York City, they had 43 hotel workers die. in the union.
Wow.
43
Wow.
union employees passed away doing their job. Or I shouldn't say that. 43 union workers have passed away. I don't know if they got it outside of work or inside of work, but it's pretty. Obviously, it's a pretty serious thing that we have to consider. And as far as breakfast, I mean, are the brands that you have that have breakfast? Have you guys discontinued that completely?
Not completely, but it's very limited. So there's not the waffles that we're used to, the pancakes that we're used to, some of the meats, and when you have a buffet at a hotel, you're pretty much, it's all next to each other, and you have a limited space. So we've really reduced all of that, limited down to coffee, juices, and pastries and things that they can grab and go. So a lot of brands are recommending that grab and go, where take it to your room or take it to where your next destination or in your car. It's kind of like what the restaurants are doing. You're taking it to go. And I think that's recommended for the time being until we figure out what's actually going to happen with the F&B side of most hotels. And I don't think buffets are going to be opening up here anytime soon, especially like Vegas and these bigger hotels. I think it's going to take time. And I think there's going to be some distancing and percentage of the restaurants and spacing and some of those things.
And you said something that's really interesting. When I asked you a question about cleanliness or whatever, you said, Anthony, you're used to 5-star hotels. This has nothing to do with the standard of hotels or the star rating of hotels. Like we said last week, who was the gentleman that gave me the quote, hygiene is a new luxury? David
Turnbull.
David Turnbull. And I've been saying that over and over and over and over again. So it has nothing to do with star ratings, because if you're a 5-star hotel or 1-star hotel, everybody's going to be looking at you. And we just had a question from one of our guests that's on the show. It said, should your ad campaigns focus more on your hygiene, COVID-19 hygiene and safety?
Yeah, I'm trying to we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about that.
I think it should be the number one thing you talk about. So tell me what you're doing.
All right. So no, I didn't make to knock on you about the 5-star. A lot of 5-star hotels have their own in-house cleaning and dry cleaning services, and that's what I kind of meant. We don't have that.
Kind of like one of the major casino resorts have that type of thing.
You go in,
has that type of thing.
Yeah, but you also have dry cleaners that can, or cleaning services that can come pick up their uniforms, so you have control over that. But again, it's an expense. And I said last week when somebody said cost per occupied room, I was like, well, I don't want to say what I said, but we've got to really we've got to think of everything. So what were you going to say about your campaign?
Yeah, so there's a ton of things you can do right now too, and I actually wrote a checklist of 51 things you can do for hotel managers right now. And I think that got over 35,000 views and hits. And so it's right here. I actually printed it out. You can print it out too. Just go to my LinkedIn profile. You'll see it right there. It's free. Download it. It's a PDF. But, I love marketing, as you see on LinkedIn. If you're connected to me, I love this stuff. And I think there's a huge opportunity for us right now in the hotel space and the hospitality space to really connect with our guests that are coming in, or potential guests, and let them know to be comfortable on why they should choose your hotel.
What's number 18 on your list? What's number 18 on your list?
They're not numbered. It's just a checklist. Deep clean your lobby. Like, there's times that you have not pulled everything out of your lobby and deep clean your lobby, right? Back up your computer.
Sounds like every episode of Hotel Impossible I've seen.
Listen to hotel podcasts. It's like one thing on your checklist of general managers that they should be doing. Listen to hotel podcasts so we can continue learning and educating. I saw a thing this morning that said 97% of people that are going to go back to work in the future didn't learn a single thing. But there was that 3% of people that actually learned something, maybe got a free certificate that FAU or American Hotel Lodging Association or one of these groups and education platforms gave out and had free access to. And there's 3% of people in the United States that would take advantage of that. And so I love that what we're doing is we're just educating our audience. And I love that we can come out of this with a better skill or skills, right? And so part of that,
how are your employees doing? Everybody healthy and everybody safe?
Yeah, actually, this Thursday, we're doing a 2-hour training on, we're going to talk about what happened in the last 6 weeks, how everybody feels, because a lot of it's emotion. Like, Glenn, we talked about this morning. It's emotion that gets you through the day, right? Yep. And your attitude and some of those things. So we're going to be talking about that. We're going to spend 2 hours this week talking to our staff about multiple things. And marketing is going to be one of them, reviews and service and scores and all of those things. Scores don't matter right now. Like, if you notice that most hotels don't have their medallions platform up or their feedback platform up, and they paused it. So this is your opportunity to get Google reviews, right? Focus on all the different channels that your guests might be booking in, and really focus on reviews. And if you haven't responded back to reviews, and it's part on my list, respond to all those reviews that you haven't done in the last 6 months, good and bad, right? That's part of the whole marketing strategy of you opening up.
So from a marketing standpoint, to me, is the touch points are really everything. So wherever you're marketing, whatever you're doing, whatever your 51 is it's all going to come down to me and judging you from a safety. So if I walk in your hotel tomorrow and I don't see a shield up, or I don't see protections in place, let me ask you this question, because I got into it with somebody last week. If there's a luggage cart, I keep saying luggage cart, if there's a housekeeping cart in your hallway with towels, is that cool? Because to me, that's not cool. Like, they
should be stored inside the cubbies where it's safe and clean, instead of just like all over the place where you see most hotels that you walk in the lobby, it's like all over the place.
So this is covered, and like I don't want to see mops, like the end of mops and things like that.
Listen, I can't promise you what's going on right now at my properties, but I'm sure we are keeping safe and sanitary, right? And this is going to be part of the meeting that we're going to have. Like, hey, this is
interesting. Are you traveling to your properties? Are you going to your properties? That's interesting. Or you're completely.
He's in a different city than his properties, for one.
Yeah. So I live in Orlando. I live in Orlando.
Right. So you didn't drive down there. So
I go there maybe once a week.
So you go once a week.
Yeah.
Oh, so you see what's going on.
But I'm not on property, like understanding like the whole operation side. Talk to our GMs, and our GM should be responsible.
But I'm saying you're there every day. You're there every week. You see them. You talk to them.
Once a week. I talk to our GMs, and we have a weekly GM meeting and a revenue meeting, and those things are still happening every week. But it's mostly through Zoom, and it's mostly through a call. But yeah, this week we're going to really talk about, since all the brands have had their standards come out as far as cleanliness and the service, and some of those some of the new programs that they have out. I'm going to collect all those and kind of make a good game plan for our properties. And
so what are you going to do if certain brands are demanding certain things that you're affiliated with, but you disagree with those plans and think that maybe this other company has a better solution?
I'm going to voice it.
Yep.
I'm going to voice it to say, hey, why are we doing it this way? I talked to an owner this morning. They're saying, most hotel brands were going to the bulk dispensers. Right. Now they think they might be going back to the individual just to be safe, and we don't know yet. So it's a watch and wait and see what happens. Because what would you like to do if you're walking to a hotel? Would you like the bulk dispenser that you have to touch, or would you like individuals that know that you're the only person that used it?
Right.
Well, you mean in a hotel room?
Hotel room. Right. What would you do, Anthony, if you had to walk into a hotel room and it was individual or the bulk?
But you have to take that standard, and then you have to say, well, how about the flushometer? How about the remote control? How about the doorknob? How about the light switch? How about the TV? How about the drawer? I mean, I can go on and on and on and on and on and on and on. Right. My biggest ski factor is the pillow. Like, yes, the pillowcase has been changed, but that pillow, 100 people have been, who knows if somebody took that pillow out. So if you look, so to me, the dispenser is the least of my worries. I'd rather have a dispenser because I know that I can clean that dispenser. I'm going to have a Lysol wipe. I wipe it off and I'll have that dispenser. So that, to me, is the least of my worries. I'm more concerned about the billion other touch points because I'm already in the shower. So if I touch it and it's dirty, I'm already going to clean it because I'm soaping myself up. So to me, the flushometer that somebody touches and God forbid it hasn't been cleaned, or the remote control, but the things in the shower that I'm actually cleaning myself with is my least of my worries. Personally.
So what are you worried about? What in the room are you actually worried about?
Everything. Every single thing. Because everything. I'll tell you why. You tell me what is not going to get me sick. Okay, tell me what's not going to get me sick, and I won't worry about it.
Yeah, and I like. I mean,
wall art.
How do I know?
People touch wall art. People touch wall art.
Do you touch wall art? Really?
People do.
Dude, I put my finger on every single frame I've ever passed in my history of my life.
Oh, well, that's because you're a hotel geek. That's not fair.
No, but to me, this is how I come at it. Tell me what surface and what something I touch and then touch my eye that won't get me sick, and I won't worry about it. So, in other words, I have to worry about everything.
Right. That's why these hotel companies or these tech companies are coming out with that robot. Have you seen the robot with the UV lighting?
No, I haven't seen that one.
So
No.
there's one that a robot walks in, or you put a robot into the room, and it zaps with UV light everything, and I guess germs in the room. And I'm not sure how long you run it for, but I think I'm gonna try to get that guy on our show, or that company, or there's few companies that do it on the show, where understand how this can clean. There's also a fogger where you fog the entire room and it kills all the germs that are on surfaces.
Right.
Which
if you
is
want to check that out, that technology, we actually did a show. Cintas was nice enough to show that equipment to us on Friday's show. So go back and check out the May 1 show in our catalog.
And that's interesting because the electrostatic guns that they have, right? Which is fascinating. They show that they spray it onto the surface, and then within a couple of minutes it dries, but also it goes underneath the surfaces. So the electrostatic gun allows it to go underneath the surfaces, which I found fascinating. And it's a service contract. So Cintas does a service contract with you. It gives it to the professionals, and gets your room clean before your housekeepers have to go in there. I think it's a fascinating way, but it's you have to have a service contract.
Absolutely. There's also the heat treatment method too. I'm telling you, it's all over the place. I've had at least 10 or 15 people reach out to me, companies reach out to me in the last 2-3 weeks saying, hey, I have this new platform, or I have this new thing that we're doing. Would you like to talk about on your show? I'm like, let's figure out, before we say this actually definitively works, let's figure out, let's get the numbers and make sure we're not just selling stuff to people, right? I don't want to do that.
Yeah, exactly. And the UV light thing, it's very important for people to understand that it has to be at a very particular light wave length. So it's not just UV in general, but very specifically a particular type of light. And that may not work on certain things while it may work on others. So don't go investing in this before you really understand what the technology is going to be like.
It's expensive. It's super expensive. Did we lose Anthony?
No, he's back right now.
Something happened with my light. Just all of a sudden, I couldn't see myself.
He said that he wrote offline that he can't compete with you anymore, Rupesh, and he had to run away.
Well, and Lucas, I apologize. I didn't come up here to ask you cleaning questions, but I think, to me, where I see it is revenue and marketing, and everything that we're doing is based on one thing: prove to me the hotel's clean. Right. I'm telling you right now, if the next time I get on a plane, I go to a hotel, like hotel general managers say to me, a lot of them don't care. If I'm in the room, and they have a lot of pride in what they do, and they don't worry about me. And then there's some people that really worry when I come, because they know that I'm going to hold them to a standard. Right. I don't go around and hold people to standards. I go in, I leave. I don't bother anybody. I don't critique anybody. And there's not one person who's ever said I've written a bad comment, because I don't do it. Right. I guarantee you that has changed.
All right. I also got to throw out there, a lot of people are talking about heat as a solution. I had a couple of calls, one from my buddy Jeff Zimmerman over at the Bedbug Heat Doctor, and some other people are talking about this, about 140 degrees maybe being the magic number. That's an emerging idea that's coming out. I don't think any of us know specifically enough about it to be able to make a recommendation. But Daniel Dragovich, who was talking last week about making his employees change uniforms, saying they're making sure to warm that 140 degrees for X amount of time in order to make sure that works. Have you thought about that technology at all?
I haven't. I mean, we're just taking everything in this week and the next week and figuring it all out, making sure that everybody's safe, including guests. And then once we know that we have a great game plan together, we're going to use that to market. And I think part of the list is make sure that your marketing is not what you had in the past. So if the beaches are open, guess what? You can say the beaches are open. And here's what I personally think: the leisure market's going to come fast when it's resort beach, where it's not in a city confined. I think those are going to come first, because
I agree. People want you to drive to.
Absolutely, staycation or local driving distance hotel vacations are going to be the thing this summer. I think people are going to feel comfortable going to the beach, distancing themselves, bringing their family together, and having a vacation out of it.
So you think all the beaches in Florida and New York and everything are going to be open?
I think so. Daytona and surrounding open this weekend. Right. I actually went to the beach on Saturday. It was awesome. Great. And how all right. It was packed.
I've got to be honest with you guys. I'm tired of talking cleaning and stuff like that. Amanda Hills from Balfour Hills. What? HillsBalfour is going to be on.
Is that why in the middle of my conversation that I was saying what I was talking about, you cut me off?
Well, you've cut me off about 50 times so far on this call, so do not worry. That love is deep and strong. But what I do want to find out is, I want to bring in Ms. Hills in a minute or two, but Rup, I want you to give our hoteliers out there a good few ideas that they could do to start generating business, to start getting people interested in making that commitment to travel again. And then we're going to bring on Amanda Hills to talk all about Together in Travel and getting us back to going. So Rup, take that away.
Right. So on social media, if you already haven't, start talking about how you're reopening. Talk about how you're going to be cleaning, like we were talking about earlier. Talk about how they're going to be safe. Talk about your location and why it's important that they stay with you instead of somewhere else, right? And talk about kind of the things that you would talk about how you would travel. So if you're considering a vacation this summer, what are you looking for? And you've probably already been looking online, like, oh, here's what I would love to dream about. Like, here's where I want to go, and here's what I feel comfortable going. Think about that, and then roll that into your marketing, as far as getting, on the OTAs, whatever marketing channel you have, OTA channel, the Googles of the world for search, the social channels. If you are doing social media ads, definitely talk about that. Video's huge these days. You guys know about it. I know about it. But most hotels still don't understand the power of video. So even creating a YouTube channel for your hotel is huge. And then posting those on multiple different channels. Video is the thing. Let people understand it. And maybe it's a GM saying, hey, it's Rupesh. I'm the GM. Welcome to my hotel. Here are the 10 ways that we're keeping you safe. And that's valuable when you're talking about marketing, right? It's understanding instead of just reading about, oh yeah, they have the sanitizers, they have this. But if you could walk through, like, think about if Anthony was walking through a hotel and you said, hey, I'm the general manager. Here are 10 ways I'm going to keep you safe. First, when you walk into our lobby, here's what we're doing here. Then when you check in, we do keyless entry. You just use your phone, tap, and you're in. Checking you're watching TV. You don't have to touch the remote control. You can use it on the app. All these different things that would make it really cool, and then make people feel comfortable booking with you, right? What do you guys think about that?
I think that's a great idea.
Facial recognition is going to be huge in the next 12, 24 months. I think a lot of technology around facial recognition is going to be really the touchstone in our industry.
Delta had already started that for flight boarding on an optional basis. So I think we are going to see more of that. Another idea, hey, maybe you don't feel like you could do it yourself. Have Anthony, have myself come in. We'll do the videos for you, get your hotel back engaged. Plus, we can do a lot of stuff that'll help you understand what the different elements are of your property that you'll be able to market and create some products behind that. Sorry for the shameless plug, but
so hold on. You guys create videos for hoteliers?
Sure, why not?
Sure.
Interesting.
Yeah,
all right.
Absolutely. Rupesh, give us one more idea, and then we're going to bring in Amanda Hills. And if you'd like, you can stick around.
Man, there's so many. Listen, there's so many things that you could. I'm trying to think right off the top of my head.
Panic.
Like I said, update your. Just respond to your reviews. If you are the hotel that didn't respond to all your good and bad reviews, go do that right now and get ready for the future. Get ready for people that are actually searching for your hotel. And hold on, one more. Update your pictures. People have pictures from like 3, 4, 5 years ago. They might have renovated their lobby. They might have renovated their rooms. Go put some high resolution pictures up on every channel, all the OTA channels, Google, Yelp. Go to every single channel, update your pictures with this awesome brand new high resolution picture, and you don't even have to hire a big photographer, right? You could do it yourself now. Every single smartphone is actually high def pictures, and you can use that while you wait to get revenue in, so you can afford a professional photographer, right? Update booking.com, update the OTAs. Go do that right now because people are looking, and then create that video with your phone too. Listen, my phone is, if you see anything on social media, it's because of my phone. I don't use another camera. I don't use a high, an expensive $2,000-$3,000 camera. It's my iPhone for everything. And you have that opportunity too. Every hotel has that opportunity to promote themselves through imaging. Video is huge. Post a video.
Yep, beautiful. All right, Rup, do you want to stick around and hang out with us? For a little bit?
Sure.
All right. Sure. Well, let's bring on our next guest. Welcome, Amanda Hills of HillsBalfour. Thank you so much for being here. Now, Amanda's kind of a big deal, and she's been working with the World Travel and Tourism Council. And thank you so much for being here, Amanda. Great to see you today.
Hi, Glenn. Thank you very much indeed from London.
Yay!
It sounded like you were coming from Brooklyn with that accent.
Yeah, it's very confusing.
Is that right? Okay.
Excellent. All right. So maybe you could tell us a little bit about what you're doing with the WTTC and share with us a little bit about Together and Travel and how we're going to get people back on the road again and having a good time.
Yeah, absolutely. Of course, Glenn. Absolutely delighted to be here. So thanks so much. So the World Travel and Tourism Council, I don't know how familiar you are with it, is an incredible body.
Well, I am, but why don't you, for our listeners and viewers out there, explain it for them? Thank you.
Okay. So it's a not-for-profit body. It's recognized as being the leading organization for the private sector and the public sector together. And it's essentially championing and bringing together the travel community of the world. And so it's a very big, very powerful global organization. The membership, accounts for over a third of all the travel and tourism business, really, which goes into the organization. So phenomenal organization, really important. And never before has there been a more important time for everybody in travel to get together. So we're a member, actually, as an organization, M&GY Global and Amanda HillsBalfour. We are an agency, a marketing comms agency, and we actually happen to be a member of the body. So when COVID-19 started hitting, the WTTC were having a look at what was going on and what they were going to do in terms of the marketplace. And obviously, the very first thing that happened was crisis. So everybody went into an incredibly anxious crisis mode. And so they set up a recovery task force, which happens every Wednesday. It's a phenomenal place to be. And the great and the good of the travel industry really all get together to share all the different issues, etc. And so, as we all know, the way that the sort of industry, or the way that a crisis works coming from a pandemic, you move into this zone where you're moving from anxious into what's the next. So for many weeks, everybody was just discussing what we could do in terms of crisis. How can we resolve it? What can we do? Even down to, the refund issue and how we can get the consumer to feel good about the travel industry. Well, actually, we were sort of slightly to one side, really, where the medical industry was really at the forefront. So about 2 or 3 weeks ago, we were sitting on one of the recovery calls, and somebody called for, what is going to happen about recovery? When are we going to be ready? What is that moment that we can actually start to discuss recovery, and when are we going to move into the zone? So obviously the membership is global, but you've got a lot of people from Asia, you've got a lot of people from the Middle East, and you've got a lot of people from Europe. So every one of us was at a different period in the sort of the curve, if you like, of COVID. So we got together with the team at WTTC. We got together with our amazingly young social creative team in our social media department. And they came up with this concept of, one of the things that we've noticed throughout this whole crisis is that brands are agnostic and everyone's sticking together. What's really important is that this moment of recovery is that no one's trying to do it for themselves. They're trying to do it for the good of the industry. We represent, if we don't bring this back, 70 million jobs will be lost next year. So, 1 in 10 jobs existing, 1 in 5 new jobs that exist in travel and are in travel and tourism. So if we're going to help get the economy back, if we're going to help our governments get it back, we really all need to be coming together and pulling together. And hence, Together in Travel was born. It was an idea of a not-for-profit. Everybody that's actually worked on the campaign has given all their time completely free of charge. And it's actually brand agnostic. So it's like we just want as many brands as possible to get behind it, to get with it. And the idea is to get everybody talking about travel once again.
Excellent. So what are your expectations for people to start talking about travel again? What does Together in Travel also mean to you?
So what it means to me, very personally, is, I brought up overseas. I've only ever been in travel. Travel is absolutely in my DNA. Brought up even in Middle East. I mean, all kinds of different, very strange places around the globe. And so, for me, travel is just absolutely in my blood.
Right.
That's why I believe in it. That's why I believe this. I believe passionately in what Together in Travel, and this whole concept of us all unifying and coming together from a sort of solidarity perspective to bring it back and go back to all the points that Rupesh was making. What we've got to do is we've got to get people thinking about it, people dreaming about it. I think one of the things that, if you go to togetherintravel.com, not a shameless plug because I just want everybody talking about it, but if you go to that, you'll see that the biggest message that we've said is don't travel right now. We get it. We get the government. We have to respect governments. But what we want you to do is share so we can all dream. And then back to Rupesh's point, that's when people are going to start coming together and making their bookings.
And that's really important. And you get a free pass with the shameless plug, togetherintravel.com, because we're all trying to get people excited about travel again. That's an essential part. We're spending so much time on this show talking to owners and operators, folks like Rupesh, brand executives, to find out what they're going through. But the one thing we haven't been talking about is fomenting that desire to travel again, right? Getting people really excited about it. So there will be that pent up demand for when people feel comfortable enough to go. Right, Anthony?
100%. And I think what I like what you said, Amanda, is start thinking about travel. Start posting pictures. Start posting pictures of previous travel or travel that you want to go on. That African safari that seems like every single person that comes on the show talks about. Go on that dream vacation in your mind and then start putting it out there. And that will start making you think about booking travel.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, I'm starting to think about when am I going to book travel to get ahead of the curve. So I think that is exactly right. We have to get that positive mental attitude about travel and about just going and really enjoying all of, like Rupesh said that, the beaches were open this weekend. Some people are like, what? The beaches are open? Because in some areas, the beaches aren't open. But we have to start moving, 100% for a number of reasons. Travel, if you think about travel, if you think about our vacations, all the things that we do, 345 days a year, the 15 or 20 or 10 days that we take for vacation is everything that our kids look forward to. It's everything we save for. It's everything we plan for. So those 15 days really help us get through the other 340 days.
Can I just say something to you on that one, Anthony, which is really interesting? 15 days in Europe, forget it. We're like 25 days minimum, if not 30. And guess what? Most governments have actually suggested that people can roll over their holiday. So when international travel comes back, there's going to be a massive amount of holiday, which is from your European audiences, just alone. So it's really interesting. I think there's going to be, and people want to travel, as you say. That's the reaction that we've had.
Yeah, in America, unfortunately, 7 to 14 days, and we think we think we're screwing off. So I agree with you. The good news about me, Glenn and I's jobs is that we're on vacation all the time.
Right. At least that's what our spouses think. They don't understand the reality of what we do out there. The dream of being able to actually take some time off would be great. Rup, what do you think about what Amanda is saying here? Is this all making sense to you, sir?
It does. For me, I've been on Instagram. I'm going to give you a plug. It's Rupesh. My Instagram is Rupesh CO. And I've been looking at.
All right, now that one was illegal. You got to take it back.
No, $5,000 for that.
Listen,
yeah. Just go on.
I'll pay kindly. No, listen, I've been on Instagram looking at all these different vacation websites or vacation profiles, and I'm like, I would love to be there. And I've saved some of these, and this is what we're doing. We're dreaming about what's going to happen. I'm looking at prices for like different countries, like even Hawaii. Like I'm just looking and seeing what it could cost me right now, how much I could save right now while things are slow, maybe for next year, right? And I think a lot of people are doing that. I've talked to so many people that are like, we have this budget, and we're going to continue looking at it. And then guess what? For the people that have lost their jobs, they're still wanting that beach vacation. They're still wanting to get away from the house. And I think that's powerful when you can inspire them with pictures and you can inspire them with just ideas. Because it's not just doom and gloom for everybody, and that's all you can think about. But there is going to be a bright light. There is going to be that time where you get back, and this is going to be a time where you're going to be able to travel. And that's exactly what I'm doing.
And I think you just said, I think 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks, we can handle that. We're getting 8, 9 weeks. People are thinking doom and gloom. People are suffering. People are, having some serious depression, and we have to infuse the economy. We have to infuse people's spirits with travel. I can't think of anything else outside of my family that gets my spirit up more than travel. So I think going to a 7-week lockdown here in New York, 8-week lockdown, I'm seeing the energy level, even with my friends, you see it in their voice. Everybody seems like they're in neutral. And we need to get that spirit back about travel. I can't.
Anthony's describing our call before we went live on air.
No, always I'm saying that so I can get back into cleaning the piss off. Go ahead.
Right.
Amanda? Do you know something, Glenn? I have to say, just listening earlier on to what Rupesh and Anthony was saying, really reassuring. I mean, everything that we're looking at, all the research suggests what's so important is confidence. It's consumer confidence. We don't know what to do. What are we going to do when the British Prime Minister says, right, you can all go out now? What are we going to do? We're all a little bit nervous. And so actually the most important thing about bringing the travel back, and it's like concentric circles. Obviously, we're all going to see domestic. Domestic will be the first. Then it'll be regional, then it'll be, a pan-European, then it'll be international. International will come quite quickly, It will all come quicker than we think once we start to get the confidence back. But I think what you guys have been discussing earlier, I think that's a message that really needs to get out to the international community a lot more, because it's the reassurance, it's that amazing things I learned today, just listening to you guys, about what are the initiatives that are coming through. Dubai has got this great pod. Have you heard about the airport pod? Where you kind of go in there and you get your temperature taken, and then you get tested, and then you get sprayed with a little bit of disinfectant, and you walk out and you're clean. And
Hong Kong's got that too. Yeah.
Yes. It's that kind of it's that kind of level of comfort, and comfort is going to be that really key part. And I don't know whether that's being discussed as enough.
What can governments do to get people excited to get out of their houses again and travel? They created a situation where they made us all stay home, which was necessary, and I understand that. But now, don't they have a responsibility to be the ones to lead us back to emotional health through travel? And what would you like to see them do if that's the case?
Me first, or
as a representative of the hospitality industry being engaged with WTTC.
I actually think, to be honest, the governments in Europe have been absolutely extraordinary. They've been really understanding and really sympathetic. A lot of their economic measures they've done have been really talking back to the travel industry. Not enough. There's still a long way to go, and each country has been very different. But economically, they've tried. They're actually paying 80% up to in the UK alone. 80% for furloughed staff, which is extraordinary. So I think the British government have been doing that because they recognise the importance of keeping the travel and tourism industry alive. And I think the initiatives that they're doing, they're going to help us to continue with that. So that's been super important. I think the governments have been able to help. When things start happening, when things start opening up, which they're going to, it's imminent. I mean, everybody is talking about it. It's like, you can really see it, you can touch it, you can feel it. So I think once that starts happening, what they need to do is address the fact that there's going to be lower occupancy in some of the hotels. How are they going to help it? Is it continued furloughing payments? How are they going to do it to enable the hotels to come back? Because I think, back to Rupesh's point, I'm not sure how much discount there's going to be around. I don't know. We're kind of going for let's add value. Let's, I think everybody I talk to personally and professionally, actually, do you know what? We just want to get traveling again. It's not about almost finding a deal. Hey, we all love a deal. But the reality is, I would just like to be with my family, to be with my loved ones, and to actually go to a different place and to thoughtful travel. I think, Anthony, back to your point, Africa is on its knees. It needs travel because poaching has never been higher. It's never been a bigger issue. So we need to get people to feel comfortable to go to the lodges, to go and, to go to those places. I think thoughtfulness is going to be a very major part of what we do coming out of this. And the other thing that we're seeing is long holidays. So people are maybe going to take less of the short breaks, but we're actually going to start taking longer holidays. So again, that's kind of thoughtful. It's going to be about the hoteliers actually making sure that they're marketing that kind of messaging about what there is to do in the local region and getting the local the local communities involved.
Right, and I think what you said perfectly. It's about confidence. And that's what I was talking about before when me and Rupesh were talking, and then when Glenn and I were talking. It's about confidence. Once you give the guest the confidence, and the value, you don't have to discount your price. I am not looking for a discount. I am looking for confidence and value.
Yeah,
that's what I'm looking for. And I think from your marketing, to Rupesh's point, the video, Instagram, having a positive energy, having, again, what we're going to do to keep you safe, and then we're going to talk about what we're going to give you. What community am I in? What does my community look like? How much fun it is to be in our community, to be on our beaches. But if people mistake, and that's why Glenn and I probably got into it before, and we have a really, I think we look at it two different ways. I think our industry is going to be brought to its knees if we don't give confidence. If we get this wrong, we're done. That's my opinion. And I feel really strongly about that. So to give people value, to give people confidence, we have to get it right first time, not second time. You know, I always say when I open a hotel or open up a retail store, anything, any business, is I'm just about to kick off my charity. And anything that I do, it's like, we got one time to do it. We screw it up, we're done. And so I can't agree with you more, Amanda. It's not about discounting. It's about value, and it's about keeping people, giving them confidence.
So let me ask you this then. Sorry, Rupesh, you go. Then I got a question for Amanda.
Yeah, I mean, I personally think it's about feeling. How do you feel when you're listening to that message, and then how are you going to feel when you're there? And I think that's going to be a huge part of the marketing that any hotel, any business does. It's going to be, how are you going to make people feel more than what you're going to do, right? Because if you can make people feel really comfortable, they're going to love to stay with you compared to the person next door or your competition. And I love that the feeling is, I mean, it's always been there, right? But now it's even more important, where feelings make the biggest difference in the world, right? And I think that's going to be, you're going to see a lot of that, like making people feel special when they're here, right? And at your hotel or in your city. So it's up to the government, it's up to business owners, it's up to everybody to make people feel comfortable. I was in a grocery store. There's a place called Publix, and they do an amazing job at customer service here in Florida and in the Southeast. And they just put up signs all over the place that says, be kind, be calm, and things that make people feel really good and be happy and be positive. And I love that they're including that into their marketing. This is a grocery store. This is the place where you go buy food, right? They don't have to do that, but they're doing it because they want people to feel good about doing business with them. And I think the same thing is going to happen to our hotel industry and restaurants and anybody in travel. It's going to make people feel good.
And that's a really good point, because I was in the store the other day, and I only go out once, maybe a week. And the person, I'll be honest with you, was nasty. The person in the grocery store was really, really nasty. And I mean, beyond anything I've ever experienced. And you know what I said to myself is, how much stress and pain is this woman in, that she has to come to work every single day and deal with silly questions and deal with all this pressure, her family being home. She's probably not feeling 100% comfortable being at work. And I literally tried to make her day. I tried to make her smile. I told a joke or whatever I did. I was trying to make her happy. And I think that's a really good point. It's, you have to be calm, and you have to be respectful of what that person's going through, because that person's just on the front line as anyone else that's out there. So that's a good point. And I'm glad they're putting those signs up, because it's true. Stay calm and just understand what people are going through, because right now, you know, like we said before, it's not everybody's in the same boat. Everybody's in the same ocean, but not everybody's in the same boat.
Yeah, I think that's so true. And Anthony, do you know, it's really funny, because, you know, Together in Travel was actually kind of on that basis, was actually grab you know, let's have a big hug with all of us, not only the travel industry, but the consumers. And the reaction's been extraordinary, because, you know, it's really 21 million sort of, you know, impressions. People are really talking about it, because what they're doing is they're being kind to each other. And that, I think, is, as an industry, we want to empower that. I think that local engagement is really what's going to bring everybody back, that kindness, that thoughtfulness in the hotels. And I think, just back to your point on cleanliness, I think someone said, you know, within the European community, that was saying that actually the sort of cleaning is almost going to be a part of the entertainment. It's going to be part of the whole. You're going to go and you're saying, that hotel was so amazing. I had 4 people I saw before I even got to my room. My door handle, you know, everything. It was just extraordinary. People are going to be sharing those ideas. That is that is what will make people feel confident.
Right. All right. In the spirit of sharing great ideas, Publix, get their fried chicken. It's absolutely fantastic. Secondly, not as important as getting great fried chicken from Publix, but still important nonetheless. Amanda, our producer Jeff just shared an article with me, and I forgot I saw it this morning. Sicily is looking to pay for half the people's flights and a third of the hotel experience in order to try to get business back. I thought that was an interesting way to create that value, where the government picks up the money. Operators don't have to reduce costs, blah, 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 blah. What do you think about those kinds of ideas?
You know what? I think it's exciting. I think it's really good. It's just that what worries me is, can the governments really afford it?
Right.
You know,
After all they're spending now.
Be able to afford
And are
it?
they ready? Are they ready to get travelers? Are they ready to have travelers come back?
Well, I guess, yeah. I mean, you know, I think a lot of the product in Sicily is very small. It's very kind of, you know, boutique and a lot of luxury. So I guess there's probably a lot of investment from the private sector. I'm sure partnership is going to be a big part of what's going to happen coming back, where governments will help and support, but you need private sector to come to the table as well. And then all of that is going to mean it's the power of partnership. So, gosh, I applaud anything, Glenn, that is going to help to get our industry moving. I just worry slightly for them, is it sustainable? Because what we've actually got to do is drive enough traffic so that in the end it's sustainable traffic and it's sustainable come back, and really, you know, kind of spread the love and make sure that everyone's getting it. So I'm not sure how many initiatives there are going to be like that, but listen, all for creative thinking.
Right. And I think that's what we really need to do right now, is try to find those innovative, interesting, different ways in order to stand out from other places. Because if you're making that first decision to make a travel point, you're going to be thinking about a whole lot of different factors all at once, and they all kind of have to align in order to get you to pull the trigger to make that trip. Right.
Yeah.
And I think the number one thing, or the top thing, is going to be the airlines really marketing and sending that comfort message out to everybody. Because you could talk about going to Hawaii, we could talk about going to Italy, but if you don't feel good about that journey over there, you can't get there, right? And it's going to be hard for you to travel if the airlines can't do their job and take that part of the whole journey and making people feel comfortable and how they're going to make people feel safe. It's not just like, oh, everybody has to wear masks, but this is what we're going to do. And I think there are some airlines that have some marketing game plans. They have this game plan of talking about the feeling, and I love that.
Yeah,
I agree with you. Yeah.
Right. Several airlines, after JetBlue said it would be mandatory to wear masks here domestically in the United States, have now made that a requirement as well. Little show note for people. So, Amanda, have you been thinking about when you think we're going to start to get back to really traveling again, or is it just still too early to tell based on where we're progressing right now with this situation?
No, I think really, like everyone's been saying on this call, I think we're anticipating travel is going to get back in Europe pretty soon. If I'm honest, the hotels are starting to open up, so domestic will start. What we need is, once domestic starts, that's going to make people think I'm traveling. Once they go domestically, they're going to start traveling a little bit further afield.
Yeah,
so
right
that is going to give us that kind of hope. I think, back to Rupesh's point, it's about what the airlines do next. I think it's about the safety, security, working with the hotels. The airports are doing phenomenal jobs as well. They play a really big part of it. And I think, the carriers are still flying. We've still got Virgin flights going into New York. We've still got BA flights. So the expansion of those routes, I think there will be changes in terms of whether it's a huge number. I think there are going to be cuts in the amount of aircraft that go internationally.
Of course.
So passengers that come internationally are going to be more valuable.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, I think one thing that people are kind of missing is the importance of making sure that you're out there now. You're communicating now. Don't go dark. Keep the lights on a bit, because frankly, this is now about booking for 2021.
Right.
All these conversations, I know we're having it as a family. We're talking about where we're going to go, and we're booking. And now I think, again, back to Rupesh's point, refunds has been a major issue in the European market. And I think there's been massive headway made within even the past few days. So, all the way along, if you look at the cruise industry,
I was going to ask about that next. Yeah.
Okay. The cruise industry, massively, massively suffering. But have you seen the initiatives that they have done? They've said, either we're going to give you a cash refund, so the consumer, or you can take your cruise, move it along, and we'll give you 25% more value. Have a look at the bookings that the cruise industry have taken. Hats off to them. What an industry.
Really?
And
what are their bookings looking
at? Yeah, that's what I want to know about, the future viability of cruising.
Okay, that's an interesting one. I think that's an interesting one. I think there's I still think there's massive opportunity. I mean, I really do, because you ask any demographic. I mean, at the end of the day, Europe is really big into cruising, especially
river cruises now.
Yeah, and absolutely, that's exactly what I was going to say. I think it'll start a little bit like the domestic centric circles. You'll go on the river cruising, you'll suddenly go, actually, cruising is a good experience, and then you'll start to expand and grow from there. I think cruising actually will come back a lot quicker than people anticipate. I think that refund initiative of the 25% value added, I think could be mapped a lot more in the travel industry. And I think a lot more people should
Right.
adopt that.
It's funny because part of me is like, I completely agree with you because we've said it 1,000 times in the show, people have short memories, but then there's still that little bit in me that's competing for things are always going to be different now. And we're going to have a lot of different challenges and cruises might suffer. But I tend to think that we do have short memories and things are going to go back to normal. Right, Anthony?
Personally, I would get on a cruise tomorrow as soon as I feel that cruise line has met my standard for safety. Then I would cruise, because again, I think it comes down to your own personal responsibility. I am not going to just rely on the airline or the airport or the hotel or the cab driver to keep me safe. It's my own responsibility to keep myself safe. So I think the way we get back to traveling is to everyone to understand. You said Daytona beaches were open. Now, if everybody's on top of each other, that is going to take us a longer time to get back to normal. If everyone was social distancing and taking personal safety, that's how we get back to travel. We don't get back to travel and we don't get back to normalcy by sitting in our homes. We get back to normalcy opening up a little bit, and every single person that is responsible for going out and enjoying themselves and traveling they're taking personal responsibility. And that to me is how you get back to normal.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. Sorry, Amanda.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Amanda first.
I think it is absolutely right, Anthony. It's about personal responsibility, but I also think it's about what everyone's doing. So if the cruise industry is going to work well, it needs to be the ports that need to be recognizing that. They need to be communicating that. They need to be reassuring people. Ditto with the airports. So the airlines can't do it without the airports. So I think there is this collective responsibility, and that needs to be taken to a higher level. And if we can get to that point, I think then people are going to feel reassured. I think one thing that's going to happen is Europe, Europe loves America. And there is, we can't wait to get those international flights back. I don't know how many people have told me they can't wait to get on a flight to New York. But I think that, so it will be interesting. I think this is America's moment from a European perspective. And I think Europe is also hoping that there's going to be that connection. So I think because, so it's our job. I think, Anthony, your point is right. We have one chance to get this right. And we need to get it right. And we need to communicate that message.
So you're saying, that's interesting, because I was going to ask you that question before. With the United States having the most cases, with New York being the hotbed, I live in New York. It is starting to open up. It's starting to get sunny and hot, and people want to go to the beaches. I live on the beach, so it's people are coming down. People are coming down to my area, and you're starting to see the beaches are still open. I don't know if they'll be open for the summer. We're hoping they will be. But are people going to get on a flight to New York because of all us being in the press every single day?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Yep.
Hey, have you seen our press, Anthony?
Well, America's got such great press around the world these days. So
have you seen? I'm sorry, Glenn. I cut him off again. Have you seen Glenn's press? It's not good.
Not good.
Well, listen, the guys, I live in.
Sorry, Rup. I just have to get this. People are complaining all the time that I have a horrible co-host on my show and that it's really dragging me down. It's really, I don't know.
It's interesting. This is the last day that I'm actually on the show. So congratulations. And
Amanda, congratulations, Amanda.
Yeah. Amanda, what's so funny is me and Glenn have never had a fight. We decided to have a fight on our podcast, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
So I haven't told Glenn, but I am resigning as of today. It's going to be the Amanda and Anthony show. And believe it or not, I've already made a deal with our producer, Jeff. Jeff will be working with me, so it's great.
That's fabulous.
All right. Now, enough with the silliness. Rup, you were going to say something incredibly important.
Yeah, congratulations, Amanda, on your new position. I think it's exciting. No.
Silliness comes from the silliest man I know.
I know, right?
I live in Orlando. All right, so we're talking about how businesses and how these big corporations and airlines, down to hotels, down to everybody, can market to make people feel good. I live in Orlando, and if you drive around Orlando, it's never been this dead in my entire life. Like, you could drive down I-Drive, go to Disney, Universal, SeaWorld. It's a ghost town right now. And you'd be shocked because 2 months ago, it was like it took you 2 hours to get through this traffic, right? And
when do you think Disney's going to open?
I think they're talking about in the next month or so. So Disney, Universal, and SeaWorld have a game plan to kind of work together on how they're going to open up and the percentages. And there's articles every single day about how they're going to do that. Yeah, and I think there's going to be an opportunity where they phase it in with percentage of the park and the distancing and all those things, it's going to be hard because I've been in line. Have you been in that 90-minute line at Disney?
Sure.
Or that,
Exactly, right?
that 3-hour line at Disney? It's like with your
Well,
crying kids.
Social distancing on top. It's going to be there for years.
There's that virtual queue that they've been using for Rise of the Resistance out in Disneyland. Some people that are real wonky saw that they've added a lot of other stuff now on the app. So it looks like they're going to do a lot of virtual queues in addition to the stuff that we've been talking about over there. I just want to come down to my what I think is going to happen. I do think people getting out is going to cause more of a spike, but I think here, at least in the United States, our society is going to be making a decision to that's it. We're done with all this lockdown stuff. People may die because of it, but I think that we're going to make that deal with the devil to get the economy going, get people traveling again, getting people back to normal. Let me know if you think I'm right about that. I'm not taking this from a moral issue, whether or not we should or shouldn't do it, but I do think that people have had enough at this point, and we're just going to make some sacrifices.
Let's clarify that. Let's clarify what you just said, because a lot of people have been getting in trouble with that statement that you just said. Other people have had it, and then other people will attack them for it. So explain your statement, because that was a flyaway statement that someone might grab, and all of a sudden it becomes a problem for all of us.
Right. I think as a society that we are going to make a universal deal with the devil to move on with our lives, and a certain amount of people will be sacrificed for it in exchange for the economy.
But a lot of people are like, how can you make that sacrifice? For
yes.
You just said we're going to travel.
I'm not making a judgment on whether or not I believe it's right or wrong.
I'm not disagreeing with you.
Yeah, right.
I'm going to travel.
Yeah.
So I get on a plane, and I'm making a deal with the devil that the pilot knows what the hell he's doing. Okay. Right. I get on a cruise ship, and I'm making a deal with the devil that the captain knows what the hell he's doing. You know, you're making a deal with the devil every time you get in an Uber. So I'm not saying I disagree with you. I'm just saying I wanted you to explain that. Amanda, do you want to say something about that?
Yeah, I don't know. I have a lot of faith, you know, in what we can do. The power.
That's because you're not American.
I think we can control it a lot more. I think, as Rupesh was saying, I think, you know, providing we do it responsibly. You know, we make that a part and parcel of attractions or hotels or airports, or, you know, I think we've got the ability to do it, to manage it correctly. I mean, we can't control perhaps what's happening in a park or maybe necessarily on a beach, so I think we can have a lot more control over it. But if we can do this in the right way, you know, there is a finite time we've got to do this. There will be a vaccine at some point. Mm-hmm. And so what we need to do is we just need to phase it correctly and make it work that way. I mean, you know, Glenn, that's exactly what the British government had thought, wasn't it? The herd mentality, you know, like, you know, keep it to the last moment, because actually people will have lockdown fatigue. So yeah, I think we've got to keep on encouraging people to make sure that we're doing it and following the discipline. And there'll always be people who are errant, but I think we have the power to control it, and we've got to take the responsibility.
The problem is if it peaks. So if we go out there and we just lose our minds and we just do whatever we feel like doing, it's going to peak, and then everything's going to get shut down again. So that's the thing that cannot happen. What cannot happen? We have to travel, and then we have to make sure that we do the right thing so it doesn't peak, so we don't get shut down again.
Well, are you guys worried about the fall and the resurgence of this?
Who isn't?
Right. I mean, I could just picture all of our businesses starting to come back, and then this happening again, and it'll be 10 times as worse. That's why part of me really thinks that we're just going to get on with it and move forward no matter what the price that we have to pay as a society.
Yeah, you know, I personally think it's going to be every single person's responsibility, not just businesses, but your own responsibility to take action and be safe for the safety of yourself, your family, but everybody else around you. So if that means you have to do this and stay away from this group, or not gather in big groups or throw conventions and or parties or whatever, that might be something. And really you have to look out for yourself and how your health is too, right?
Right. So in this spirit of looking out for ourselves, if you guys want to do a virtual event, you can have Anthony and I host your virtual event. No, but I do want everybody to get back. But I think it's kind of what we're talking about here is that weakest link supporting everybody else. Rup, you deal with this. If you've got a hotelier in there that panics, that's frightened, and drops their rates precipitously, it's going to affect your business. Extrapolate that out into people dealing with this disease, not taking all of the right methods and care, and it could happen. So we all have to be vigilant. We all have to pay attention. We have to do a whole lot more than what we were doing in after 9/11, which is if you see something, say something, and it's going to take a while. Anthony?
I personally think the people that do that, I think the people that drop their rates are the same people that are going to get bad comments on TripAdvisor and on the internet, because they're obviously not paying attention to their business. And you're not dropping your rates and to complete discount and just trying to get people in your doors if you're a good hotelier and you're keeping all the standards of your hotel, because those standards cost money and you can't drop it to $69 or $29, whatever you drop it to. So I honestly, personally, I always see that. I always see the people that don't know how to revenue management. I can literally take their revenue management score and tie it right to their comments almost exclusively.
Right. All right. So
what do you think about that?
Yeah, I definitely agree. I mean, we're not just dropping our rates for no reason. I think we have a value proposition on why our rates are at this price point. And I think you show that with marketing and show that with videos like I talked about, like show why you're doing all of this stuff and show why they're spending $100 or whatever the rate is and what they're getting out of it, just like you were in the past. But this is a different way of marketing and sharing your story. I love that part.
Right. And Amanda, let me throw it to you in a more of a positive way. I love that in Europe, a lot of the governments have been paying like 80% salary and all of that. That is going to ensure people have the money to travel on the other end of this. Here in the United States, a certain group of people are getting that extra $600 a week instead of, in addition to unemployment. So that could be helpful. So I think as long as those measures stay in place, combined with what you're saying about maybe adding extra vacation days for people next year, we might actually be in a pretty good space in the future. Yeah.
Yeah, I really do. I mean, I think, the initiative is actually so that people don't make people redundant. It's actually so that you can keep on going, because it's obviously economically much more viable for the governments if you don't make them redundant, because then you carry on and the businesses don't go under. So, I mean, obviously there's been a lot of suffering. And so there have been industries, there have been businesses that haven't made it. But I think that what they've done is they've made us more successful and able to continue. Right. I think what you're saying, though, Glenn, is we just got to get this marketing. We've got to get the message out. We've got to get the message out to consumers, too. So we have to do more of the kind of together and travel type of campaigns to say, look, just travel responsibly, and then we'll all be in it for the long run. And I think the long term, and not make this a short-term issue. So that, back to Anthony's point, the last thing we want to do is have a spike and then have to reverse this. So, I think we've all got to be a bit patient. That's what we got to say. Be patient and be thoughtful and be strategic in our approach.
Yeah, and I think the good point is, well, if there's a good point, that this is not a 2 or 3 or 4 week. This is going on for a long time, and it's going to go on for even longer. And I think our cup of coffee in Rome, I think our slice of pizza in Brooklyn, I think, Eiffel Tower picture is going to mean more. I really see it in my family. I see it in people. Everything is going to mean more, and I think everything is going to be absorbed differently beforehand. And that's pretty intense, but I really feel that this has really repositioned our core. And so our travel will mean more than Instagram, will be more than getting that shot. It will be sucking in the air and taking that moment in with your family and slowing down. And I think travel industry is going to come back bigger and better than it's ever been. It's going to come back a little bit quicker than people are anticipating right now, in my opinion. But who the hell am I? I'm just Glenn's assistant. So I think it's going to be.
You mean Amanda's co-host?
Exactly.
So I really think. I think we're going to be a deeper society. I think that. I could be wrong. People go back and be idiots in 30 seconds. Who knows? But I just think, I know when I get on a plane and I go with my family to on vacation, it's going to be a lot more meaningful. Amanda, what do you think about that?
Oh, Anthony, I'm so with you. I think the social impact. I think actually making sure that people understand the social impact, making sure that people realize what it's really going to mean on a local level, an individual level. I think that's the message that we've got to get across. As an industry, we've got to say that we're saving lives with because it really is. I mean, the governments are now faced with such a difficult dilemma. Do you keep everybody locked down from a health perspective, or do you actually allow, what's the cost of the economic impact on keeping everybody locked away. But, so they've got to get the balance right. And I think we as an industry have got an absolute responsibility to make sure that we tell people the story of the social impact. We've long...
No, go. I was gonna share something, but keep going.
We've long said, ask a local. We've done campaigns for New York City to the European audiences, which is ask a local. Tell me your story about where I should be going for New York. And never before has that been more important. And I think that's what we're going to see. That's what we need to be seeing. As it all comes back. I think it's that thoughtfulness, that kindness. It's the engagement that I'm going to feel with you. And what am I going to do? And how am I going to help your business? I want to come and stay in your hotel. I want to travel. I'm selfish. But I want to come and stay in your hotel because I'm hoping that's going to help you. And by the way, I'm going to go and buy a pizza because that's going to help you. Don't you think we've all become really kind and really thoughtful, as you were saying earlier, Rupesh?
Right.
I think we have really become a different people. And boy, oh boy, I mean, what is it? That lovely statistic. It takes 60 days to change our behavior. And so, I really believe, I don't think it will not be a new world. It is a new world. We've already had the button, already reset. So what we need to do is decide how we're going to script that going forward and make sure that we are the authors of it.
Yeah, and so like on Friday, I made this thing says, "Welcome back. We missed you." Love the hospitality industry, right?
Love it. Absolutely brilliant.
So this is a message. It's feelings like we talked about, like I talked about earlier, and I think that just saying, "Hey, we missed you," from the hospitality industry, like it shows like. It's like restaurants, like, you went to a restaurant, you might have taken takeout this last month and you might have given them a bigger tip than you usually would have, that person or that group of people. And I've done that plenty of times in the last 2 months now, right? And I think that's going to be the same thing for the hospitality industry. And like Anthony was saying, as long as we get the messaging right, as long as we can say that we really missed you, and we did, we miss our guests right now.
Right. I think it's in our DNA to help and take care of people, and I miss that. I truly miss it more than I can ever explain. And I think our healthcare workers and everybody that's on the front line are going to need to come back and go on vacation, and we need to really take care of them and pamper them, because we have to remember those healthcare workers that are out on the front line, they're used to making people better. And a lot of those frontline people that have seen the worst cases, unfortunately, a lot of the people they saw didn't make it. And we need to open our arms, and hopefully brands will be doing something to add value to them and their families, and giving them, again, not discounts, but giving them certain privileges that maybe a regular, like if you're a doctor or you're a nurse, or you're in the front lines, honestly, if you're an MTA worker, I think they should get some advantages that maybe the regular traveler shouldn't get. What do you think?
I really agree. I love that initiative that is going around. I know MGY and NJF. Sorry, a little plug there, but
that's fine.
They came up with this great campaign, which is buy one and give one free, and I love that. And that was like they're doing that with hoteliers across the US, and we're now looking at integrating that into the UK and European model, because I think it's right. I mean, there has been, I don't know whether you guys have seen the coverage, but in terms of the sort of, the thank yous to the frontline staff, the thank yous to the NHS, it's been absolutely extraordinary. And I think giving that element back is also very important. It just keeps us all going with that whole thoughtfulness, and we mustn't allow that to drop and allow that to forget, because that is actually, as people always say, we are hospitality, tourism and leisure. We are the happy industry, and we therefore, we want to make sure that we're giving back as well.
Right.
Yeah. I think, sorry, one more thing.
No,
I think just like we are used to giving discounts to maybe seniors and the military, I think there's definitely be a big thing on discounts to, the hospitality or the healthcare industry. Like if you are a healthcare worker, show your card and you get a discount. I think
That's
exactly
exactly.
A big thing. Maybe hotels can give a special rate code.
Right. That's exactly what I was going to say, Rupesh. So thanks for stealing my one idea. I had this entire show over here, but I do hope that after all of this, people will start to tip housekeeping in a more meaningful way.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Hopefully they'll really start to understand what those people have to do every single day. Anthony and I are big proponents, and we know that they are the hardest working people in the hotel when it comes to physical labor. And maybe we'll see a little bit more love for them. Yeah.
I think that's a great point. I think one of the things you can do quickly as a hospitality industry is upgrade, right? So if you're a doctor, I'm upgrading you. You're a nurse, I'm upgrading you. You're a bus driver, I'm upgrading you. If you were in the front line, I'm upgrading you. I'm upgrade happy. That's why my staff keeps me away from the front desk. Don't ever put Anthony at the front desk because he gives everybody their money back. He upgrades everybody. He sends amenities, and he costs the hotel money. So the general manager's got to stay in his office. So, and it gives me great pleasure to give upgrades. You know?
Yeah, it sure does. So one person is saying that TripAdvisor reviews from Hong Kong, 80% is showing that travelers are sympathetic to the fact that hotels are trying their best, Anthony. That's a pretty good sign that we're all in this together still.
I think, you know, again, to Amanda's point, it's who we are.
Right.
You know, it's you can't take it out of us if you wanted to. You know, I'm the guy, you know, and I'm sure I don't know if I can't speak for everyone, but I clean the bathroom on the airplane. Like if it's a mess,
I do not do that.
I clean it.
I just go to a different one.
I do. I swear to God, I clean the bathroom. If it's disgusting, I clean it not only for myself, but I don't want anybody, like, I'm a Delta guy. I don't want anybody, you know, on this plane to think that Delta is disgusting. So that person that was dirtied up, it's my need. I need somebody to have a hotel for me. I gotta go right now.
You have a lot of Delta stock, or are you personal friends with Ed Bastian? What's going on here?
No, you know what? I just have a need to like, you know, just clean and make sure everybody's happy. So I'm going to go right now, and I'm going to go run a hotel because I got to get back at it, man.
We got a good question.
Bathrooms before.
Yeah. I've got a great question here. Amanda, maybe you could help. Rupesh, maybe you could help since you're from one of those markets. How would you market a large resort, such as a big one in Vegas, Orlando, or one of those kinds of things? Because that requires a lot more complexity than what Rupesh was saying before you arrived on the show, Amanda, which was maybe we'll start traveling to small resorts that are on the beach first. So how do you think some of these more giant companies are going to be able to handle this transition back to normalcy?
Do you want to start with from a hotel perspective, Rupesh?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's the same thing. I mean, you're going to do it in a bigger perspective. You're going to have a bigger budget where you're targeting people. You're targeting a specific person that's traveling. You already kind of know who that person is based on rewards programs, based on their past stays, based on how much, you know, there's a lot of analytics that go behind the marketing plan of you pushing out a message. But I think there's an opportunity, the same thing, like, hey, we're a hotel where we have chefs, we have valet, we have front desk, we have F&B. We're all here together to help take care of you and your family and share that message. It doesn't have to be the small hotel on the beach, but it could be your big hotel that is saying, listen, we're not going to fill our 1,200 rooms up. We're only going to fill up 300-400 rooms. Well, you got to figure out what the revenue is going to be for that. But you have to understand that the guest needs to understand, like, the hotel is not going to be packed. The pool is not going to be packed. And I'm going to have to worry about my, me being affected or cleanliness, all those things, right? You can have a message of, hey, we are running 20, 40% occupancy or 50% occupancy because we want to make sure that we're empathetic to everybody and that we're giving you detailed service, right? We're giving you that engagement that we really think that you deserve.
Yeah, and I think absolutely. I think from a destination point of view, we've actually seen resorts are, you know, when you actually do the consumer research, that's what a lot of consumers want. They want the security and the safety. They know that the big brands are going to take care of them. They know the big brands are actually going to be enforcing all the different government legislation. There's too much at stake if they don't. So they're going to have the social distancing, you know, intact. They've got restaurants where they can actually take away a couple of tables. So they're actually, you know, those larger sort of zones, you're literally going to go, you're going to either drive or you're going to train or whatever you're going to do, you know, fly eventually. But actually you're going to have lesser touch points, but you still get to go to Vegas or you still get to go to Orlando. So actually, I think resorts have got, you know, they've got the ability. I think, you know, in a way they're almost more controlling of the whole destiny than you know, the smaller ones. The smaller ones have got their own ideas and their own stories.
Right.
And they've also got to do that really, really personalized. You're not going to get a cheap deal, but you're going to get value added. And boy, oh boy, you know, it's the TripAdvisor is going to be, the scoring is going to be how clean, like, you know, times 12. How clean was your doorknob and how clean was your, you know, your pillows? And did you see the, you know, how many staff did you see? So I think it's going to be very, very different, I think, but both of them have got their way. It's just about how you do and get the marketing message. And, you know, our big thing is we've got to be really targeted and focused. Everything we're going to do in terms of marketing, you've got to make sure social, digital is going to absolutely take off now. It's all going to be about making sure you're adapting your message to your consumer. And that's what I would do if I was a larger resort or destination.
I think, listen, I've spoken to a lot of people on the show, and Amanda, I think your information has been the best when it comes to marketing. Your targeted information is in marketing is so critical. This is not just a machine gun message. This is very precise, very surgical, very specific message that you have to put out there in a very strategic way. And you have to make sure the thought leaders on your team are really coming up with the creative ideas. And then once you do that, you have to control that really tightly, but really effectively and really efficiently. So, I'll give you an example. Like we saw something, I don't know if you sent it to me, Glenn, somebody saw it, but there was a restaurant in Amsterdam with a couple glass houses.
I just saw that today.
Have you seen that? So there's like 4 or 5 little glass houses that you can fit a table in. So I'm sitting there having a romantic dinner with my wife, in Amsterdam, right on the water, and I'm enclosed in this little glass house. So I get to see everything. I feel like I'm outside, but I'm separated from everyone. And that was a really good way to me for that restaurant to spend a little bit of money, target that message. That one little picture told me that Amsterdam got it. So that targeted message really made me want to go to Amsterdam. It really did. I was like, wow, I want to sit there. That was a great idea.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I like the idea of, but what if you had an idea of a family? Like if you're a big resort, you have a budget, you have a small budget that you could spend less than $10,000, or I'm not sure what it's going to cost, but take a family and show them, here's the journey of you and coming to Florida, staying at our hotel, show them the touch points, maybe show them you going to Disney, and here's how it's going to happen. So that people understand, oh, I'm not making it up, but they're following your direction. And I love that you could say, as soon as you arrive from the airport, this is what you can do. Here's how you can enter our hotel and be safe. And here's what you could do at our hotel and be really safe. And I love that whole message and that journey. So if you had like a family that they followed for a few weeks, and that was your whole marketing message, I love that people say, you know what, my family is like that family. I could feel myself in their position. And they're having a good time, so I'm going to have a good time too. And this is kind of the whole journey of that feeling part that I was talking about.
I think that's a good point. And I think, I'd like to be at the planning meetings right now at LaGuardia Airport, because LaGuardia Airport is basically, gutting itself and reimagining their airport. So I could imagine the planners right now have changed a lot of things that are in the architectural drawings to keep people safe and to really bring in more technology, kind of what Dubai's doing. So it'll be interesting to see when LaGuardia opens. That should be the standard of care, for lack of a better word, for the traveling public, if they're smart and if they get it right.
Right.
And I'm pointing back to your point as well. I think, what's really important is let's be creative. We are great as an industry. We're really smart, but we just got to be more creative. Yeah. We've got to adapt to what the consumers are going to want. And I don't think we should be afraid of price. I know I keep on saying it, but, back to your point about the restaurant and the pod, and, London's got those pods all the way along the coast. I think that's going to be really important. I think the other thing is about leisure. I think technology is going to play a big part in corporate. So that may continue, but I think that's going to make leisure even more important. So we've got to get the leisure messaging right as well, in terms of product and what we're saying and which consumers we're talking to.
Yeah, listen, a lot of industries are doing well. Like somebody sent me a little picture of a CEO of a touchless door key for the hotel industry on his yacht. Right? It was a joke. It was like you're sitting on his yacht, because that industry is going to explode. The chemical industry is going to explode. Lysol, all those companies. So there's a lot of companies that are going to do well, and those people are going to travel. And in our industry, we're all going to be working, because we've all been out of work, right? So we're all going to be working to take care of you. So all those people who have been working come on vacation, because we're going back to work because we haven't had a job in 2 months or 3 months.
Well, I'm rooting for the chemical industry to not explode. That's what I'm doing. But
are we backing up again? All right.
Well, come on. Did we ever fall out of love? I know I haven't. I pledge my unyielding loyalty and love to you, sir. All right. There was one question about whether or not folks that are over 65 should stay home, or those with immune problems. I just want to talk about that real quick, and then we got to wrap up the show because we've been on for a really long time. It will be interesting to see what happens. I would think that, Rup, this is something that's got to concern you, because that group of people are the ones that are paying for their kids and their grandkids and all of that to have these family togetherness type of outings. Are you concerned that that aspect of your business might shift around a little bit in a place like Daytona?
Florida is a spot for, retirees, and it's a spot for people, snowbirds that come down every year. August all the way down through October, September, October. They all traveled down here and they stayed 4 or 5 months. I think they're gonna think twice about coming down, especially if things get worse at the end of the year. But I think there's still an opportunity that if they feel comfortable and they're healthy and they've gone through this first 2-3 months, they're still going to travel and they're going to want to be a part of their family. And then guess what?
Right.
The younger generation is going to want that family sense. They've already been, been voicing, or they've been Zooming or Skyping or FaceTiming anybody, their family, right? And now they want to spend some time together. And I think that's going to be a great opportunity for them this summer to do it. And I think
one of the things I'm realizing is it's easier to keep a 19-year-old in the house than it is to keep an 80-year-old in the house. Okay. I will tell you that everybody I talk to, a friend of mine had to get on a plane to California, okay, to literally physically put his mother and father in the house. So when you're 75, 80, try to tell me at 70 years old I can't go to the beach. Try. Good luck and God bless you, because I'm going if I'm healthy. And so I think that those, Jerry Inzarella was on our show last week. He said that the last couple of years that travel has been a significant travel for the international community, that grandparents taking their grandchildren on vacation, not just giving them a check or not just saying here, go on vacation, taking them. I think that's going to come back. And I think, like I said, I think they've been home and they've been told by their kids, you're not allowed to leave. I think they're going to rebel a little bit.
Right.
Amanda, what did you want to say about that?
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm totally with you. I think multi-generational travel is going to just carry on. It's going to go from strength to strength. Our Prime Minister's father is 80 this year. He's due to go up Mount Kilimanjaro in Kenya, and he is trying to persuade his son to ensure that that is not locked down for 65-year-olds plus, because he's raising money for charity and he's climbing up a mountain. So I think that kind of sums it up. I think you've got to take it case by case. Make sure that, and I'm with you, Anthony. My mother is a nightmare, and she won't go. She would get on a cruise tomorrow if she was allowed to. So yeah, they're tough to keep.
Right. Wow, that's a pretty good charity event. Makes my charity event of getting people to pay me to sit in my backyard look really not very good at all. All right, so right now, according to producer Jeff, said that in China, more than 4,000 major tourist sites are open to visitors during the Labor Day holiday, which is for them right now through May 5th. Popular spots like national parks and sections of the Great Wall sold out tickets well before the first day of the month. And even though they're enforcing QR health checks, it seems like things are getting back to business over there. So that's pretty encouraging. Probably bodes well for the rest of the world as well. So as we wrap this show up for today, maybe we can get a little some positivity from all of you about what you're thinking about, what you're looking most forward to in the future, and maybe where you are going to travel when you're ready to travel. Rupesh, how about we start with you?
Before we do that, Glenn, can I come back to that? Do you think it's a good idea because the beaches and the parks in our communities in the city, everybody's afraid if we keep them open, it's just going to get to mayhem and we're going to.
That's right.
So wouldn't it be a good idea? This just gave me a great idea. Wouldn't it be a good idea to give anybody that wants to go to the beach on a Friday or Saturday, Sunday, they have to not so much buy a ticket, but go get a ticket and then show it as you go into the parking lot that you have a ticket. Wouldn't that solve
that way? You mean that way they could have like 25% capacity or something?
Right. Wouldn't
like
that
right?
solve a lot of problems?
It would solve a lot of problems. Maybe you should run for government office here and actually get some stuff done.
The problem with that is I have a terminal disease and it's called the FU disease, so I would have a problem with that. So what do you think about that, Amanda? I mean, does that make sense? Like to open these parks and beaches to like let people go online, let them get a ticket. And then those people with tickets are allowed to go to the beach. And then you can't go to the beach maybe next weekend. Somebody else goes.
I think
hard to control.
I think it'd be really interesting. It's an interesting concept. I mean, they do it in the parks, don't they? They do it in national parks. They do it in safari parks. I mean, you measure it, you manage it.
I think that's a good idea.
It's interesting if we can get it right.
Mm-hmm.
Over tourism hopefully will be a thing of the past. We just have this fresh blank piece of paper. We need to start really being creative and looking at it and thinking of the way that we're going to adapt to this new world. And, it's in our hands. We need to rewrite it, I think.
Right. Okay. So to Glenn's question, where are you guys going on vacation when you get out from lockdown, and what are you guys thinking about for your own business? What creative thoughts do you have? So I'll throw it out to Amanda first.
Gosh, where am I going to go? It's really difficult. This is a big dilemma. I think New York City is very close to my heart, so I'm really looking forward to coming back.
We appreciate that.
I really am, and also I'm looking forward to going to some big open spaces. And that could be big open spaces within America, within Africa. I'm looking forward to some big open spaces, and I'm looking forward to doing it with my family. And that is my brother, my nieces, my mother. So I'm definitely from that multi-generational thing. Where do I think business is going to go? I think there has probably never been a more exciting time in travel and tourism. And I say that positively because I really do think it's in our hands to take social conscience to the next level, to really ensure that all the errors of the past, all the sustainability issues, the over-tourism issues, the not being thoughtful or kind enough, not tipping people in hospitality enough. We've got this massive opportunity to recreate a really great world. And we are the industry of happiness. So we got to get it right. And we should make sure that we get it right. So I'm looking forward to my new position, obviously, with you, Anthony, doing this new show from New York. I've got to adapt my accent a little bit. And Glenn, you're going to be one of the first people that we have on the show. So
thank you. Thank you. Maybe I'll get a chance to speak in that case.
I think you do too much speaking. Jeff sent me a note to try to cut you off as much as possible. So Amanda, on our new show, the Amanda and Anthony show, what we're going to do is we're going to start the conversation, but you're going to do the first few seconds in a Brooklyn accent. I'm going to do the first few seconds.
Marvelous. Show me how you're going to do that now.
Well, what I think we're going to do is that's Iowa accent.
That was a good one, Anthony.
Okay, maybe we have to do a little green room practice first. No offense, Anthony, or anything.
Yeah, I sound like I was from a farm. So, Rupesh, where are you going? What are you doing?
We've been already talking about this, and it's Hawaii or Alaska.
Nice.
two areas that I've been to Alaska before. That was like a long time ago, but I would love to take my kids there. There's plenty of space for all of us to go to Alaska and do our social distancing. And I think it's just a beautiful beautiful
countryside.
Countryside where, I think you just have a good chance to relax and hang out and see nature and, some of those things. So I'm excited about that. But, or Hawaii, it's also an option, but, we need to plan it out and kind of figure out what we could do. And when travel opens back up, we're ready to go. I think we're ready to travel. I think a lot of people are. I think people are itching. My kids are. They're ready to get out of the house. That's a way to take them to the beach. It's the first day it opened up. And we're going to do that beyond just locally. I think we want to go internationally. We have to see how safe it is and be safe for ourselves. And I'm sure it's going to be a good opportunity for a lot of people to travel. And I think a lot of people are going to feel confident. So I'm excited about the future.
Yeah, I think it's a good time to have a dude ranch.
Yeah. Where are you going to go? And Glenn, where are you going to go? Finally, I'll finish.
Anthony, what about you?
Amanda, you're really good at this. I like this, and I enjoy her so much better than Glenn.
Oh, well, why wouldn't you?
I really want to go to Japan. Like, that has been my place I have not been able to get to. That's probably going to be kicked down the road a while because getting my wife to go to Japan will probably be almost a miracle. I want to go probably to Wyoming. I want to go to a dude ranch. I want to go to Idaho. I want to go to an open place with horses and take horseback riding. And I just want to be in an open setting. And I think my children really haven't experienced that before, and I want them to see how beautiful this country is. And, I've been fortunate enough to travel to almost every state. Those are the areas. Cody, Wyoming. I've done a show in Cody. I cannot get back to that hotel that I did and hang out with their horses and hang out on their property. So that's what I'm looking forward to. Glenn, where are you looking forward to going?
Well, we had a trip to Japan planned for August, which I had to punt. So we'll probably do that in 2021 after the rescheduled Olympics are over there. Right now, I'm just kind of hoping to maybe make it as far out as Islip. And to be fair, that's all the way on the other side of the Long Island Expressway. So it's pretty good venturing out. But realistically, I have no idea. We're probably going to do a car trip this summer, not get on the airplanes right away. Just more of a financial thing than a airplane issue for us. I want to support some of the more local businesses in my state to get started. Maybe hit that Roxbury hotel that Anthony's such a big, fan of and has friends over there, that sort of thing. So
Amanda, you got to go to the Roxbury Contemporary Resort in Roxbury, New York, since you love New York so much. It is
right. Okay.
One of the most extraordinary places you've ever seen. So Glenn, can I come to Long Island with you and hang out?
Yeah, come out here to the Houseman Resort Pool Club and Smokehouse. We've got great things going on all summer long. We made some rack of ribs last night, which is pretty good. You know how we do all the cooking over here. We did Chinese food last week for the first time. So always great food to eat over here. Always a great place to hang out. And if any advertisers out there want to give us some great outdoor furniture, we'll talk about you too.
Amanda, the only thing is, if we do a show together, you're not allowed to do those marketing pitches for the show. All right.
No, okay, fair enough. I want videos and all that kind of stuff. No.
All right, so don't watch reruns of Hotel Impossible in that case, because we're not allowed to talk about any of those kinds of things.
You know what, Glenn, if I made money from reruns on Hotel Impossible, I would be throwing that across the screen.
All right, let's end this right now. Amanda, how can we find you? This is your chance to have the shameless plug. No guilt whatsoever, whatever you want to talk about.
Gosh, I mean, you can find us on, togetherandtravel.com. I'd love everybody who's hearing the show to actually join the mission and join the charge. And we are mmgyglobal.com or mmgyhillsbalfour.com. We'd love to talk to you. We'd love to invite you in, and we'd love to share and work with you on whatever you're going to do. Because all we want to do is make sure we bring travel back.
Great. Roop, what about you? How can we find you? How can we find your show? All that good stuff.
Absolutely. Well, you can find me definitely here on LinkedIn. I post every single day. I post a inspiration, marketing tips, customer service, leadership every single day here on LinkedIn. So you can find me at rupeshlive.com. Every Wednesday, I host a live hospitality live show where I bring on a superstar in the industry, talking about everything from operations to running your hotel to marketing to kind of everything across your hotel when you're on property. And join me there. So every Wednesday at 9:30 in the morning. And this week we're going to talk about cleaning. So we're talking about those things that we talked about earlier, how to sanitize your hotel and some of the brand standards that these hotels have put together. And I'm excited about that. And then also I'm launching a new website, rupesh.co. It's coming soon. We're going to have all the people that I've had on in the past coming back and inspiring you with ideas, strategies, and ways to improve your hotel.
Beautiful. Great. I love it. Amanda, Rupesh, thank you so much for being here today. We will see you next time. You guys absolutely rocked. What a show today.
I'll tell you, Glenn, on a serious note, Amanda is so much better than you. Is she still
I'm glad we're finally being honest with each other here.
Is she still in the studio?
Oh, she's laughing her butt off right now. Although I can't see that part of her, but I can tell.
One of the things I don't want to do, Glenn, is I don't want to lie. I have to tell you. So, it's interesting. There's a lot of things we talked about on this show, and a lot of interesting things, and kind of like the rub between you and I think that's what's going to be the rub between the client and the travel industry. We got to get that right. We got it. Like what's important to me is got to be important to the hotels, got to be important to the airline. So that way, I always say when I train a team, is your little issue that means nothing to you means everything to me.
Right.
And everything that means everything to you means nothing to me. Right. Okay. Like, I don't know, a comfortable bed is important, especially from business, but it's not like everything.
Right.
What's really important to me is I like a great shower with water pressure. Right. That will get me, that I may not come back to your hotel. What's really important to you is like, you may want a key and go to your room and never see the person again. What's really important to me is that first touch point is like everything to me. So, I think going forward, we just got to keep that in mind. What's important to you is not important to me. What's important to me is not important to you. But so we've got to get it all right.
So what you're really saying, Anthony, is that this era of personalization that we have been in is only going to become more important in the future. Yes.
And I think a good hotelier has been in that business since the day they were born. I think Jerry Anzarello was in that business the day he was born. I think I was in that business since the day I was born. I think personalization means everything to me. Is that I want to make that standard hotel that maybe I'm running feel like it's your hotel. So I think it's, yes, we have to double down on it, but the people that have done it will always do it.
Right. Beautiful. Wow. This was another great show, man. And tomorrow we've got the CEO of G6 Hospitality, Rob Leshy, coming on. I can't wait for that, as well as Chris Green will be back with a little bit of update what he's going on. A couple of other hoteliers are going to be on as well to talk. So last thing I've got to say is sign up for our newsletter. Text the word hotel to 66866 for more great content every Sunday night right to your mailbox. And of course, join the Hospitality Success community on Facebook, right, Anthony?
Hospitality Success on Facebook, also hospitalitysuccess.com, and look for webinars that will be coming your way very, very soon. And I will be announcing our charity this week. We're just putting all the T's and I's together. So
right,
we're doing that this week, and so a lot of stuff coming your way.
And we're going to have something that you guys could all get involved with too in regards to this charity that Anthony's putting together. So thanks so much for being here. Remember, everybody, you got one life, so blaze on, and thanks for checking in.